So I have, well, as you can see, I've painted, yeah, some's off screen, whatever. You know, I want to focus on this area, and this has become somewhat of a distraction to my design in here. But I would like to have a branch coming out of the foliage and then poking up that catches some light. But it has to be done right. At the moment, I have this triangle on top of a more squat triangle, which, yeah, it's sort of a necessary evil. But it just, to me, it looks ridiculous right now. So just a second ago, I took my charcoal and I thought, I'm going to put that branch in there. What I ended up with, of course, was a check mark right in the middle of the tree. And that's all it is. Like that check mark just said, oh, you scored correctly on your test. Of course, this branch is going to come forward out of this tree, and it's going to have to eventually, ultimately end up with the trunk. So, if our trunk is there imaginarily, then what I need to do is have that branch ending up something like this. Which I'm not too fond of. Because it lines up perfectly with the bottom of this, and you have a little this shape, and you have it repeated here, and on and on and on and on. I'm closing in on my final design here, but I'm probably becoming a little bit, I'm probably fixating on silly things a little bit at the moment. We'll see, is that going to work? Maybe if that's a bit higher. I think I might be becoming too detail-oriented. I keep looking at this now, all I see is a check mark. But that is, the shape that I do want in there. So, I just wanted to let you in on my little moment of torment. I'm not going to publish this tonight. I'll do it tomorrow, but and by then I'll have solved the issue, and then the whole painting will have been washed in, and we'll go from there. See ya. So after all of my whining and sniveling about this branch coming down here, I ended up with a shape that just kind of looks like a hockey stick. It's okay. No matter what you do, it's always going to remind you of something else, and you can't fixate on it. You just gotta say to yourself, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, this water I think was washed in already. It's a little bit nondescript. But the white had to be gone. I'm going a little more towards the blues. I'm probably going to bring mostly sky grays into here. We'll see. It's something in progress. This stump is a little weighty right now. I'll probably thin it off a little bit, make it less substantial. Still okay. It's just a little too. It has too much presence. I'd like to say it's too thick, but in fact it just has too much presence. These trees are good, these little monsters just sort of sitting there wondering what to do. I love the character that they have. I may shorten this branch a little bit. I'm not sure. And I still have not decided whether I'm going to use a knife or a brush on this. I'm leaning towards the brush. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Well, you'll never guess who forgot to hit the record button on the camera. So I'm just going to try to repeat most of what I was talking about a minute ago. And we'll go from there. I like the gray sky, you know, the gray washing. Totally, I'm going to go a little higher in value. I'm not going to have a very strong design in the sky. I'm not going near as light as I could in my lighter areas because I don't want to compete with here. You know, this is where the sun's going to be really hitting the rock and the base of the tree. So, in my sky, I am using my old friends, raw umber, cobalt blue, white. I've used a little bit of yellow ochre up here, just a hint. And I'm using a little bit of linseed oil. I'm using my round brush. I like using, often when I use a round brush, I like to put some linseed oil in with it. Oh, this might be the first time I've used a round brush. Since I started my YouTube channel. I used to use a round brush a lot, but in recent years, not so much. I don't know why. One big advantage of a round brush is that you can really load it up. It holds a lot of paint. Much more paint than a flat brush. You'll see that some of my strokes are quite smeary and other ones are more direct. A little bit of variety there. I like that. Yeah, it's too bad I forgot to capture this because I enjoy cutting around the trees quite a bit. Mind you, I have a video called Oh That Sky that I did a while back, and that one I have probably a little more of a close-up example of me cutting into trees. That one's probably a little more detailed than this one. I'm just sorry that I didn't turn the camera on this morning because or first thing when I started to paint this, because I thought I was recording for about 15 minutes and I captured nothing at all. Okay. I'm having a bit of this happening in the sky, but not too strongly. Excuse me. I'm adding oh so small an amount of alizarin crimson to my color now. You won't really see the purple too easily. It's another bit of jump there. Okay, I'm going off screen now, so leaving these little reminders here and there of my values, making sure that I don't lock in one area of overmixed paint. You know, I want there to be variety there. Okay, I know you can't see this brush stroke. So maybe what I'll do is I'll back the camera out, and as I continue, maybe I'll speed it up in editing, maybe I won't. That's a little better shot of it. I think I might go, I'm going to throw a little bit more light in one area here, just to try to keep a bit of design going. I don't want the sky to get too blasé. That's a bit cold. I'll add a little bit of yellow ochre to that. That's okay. Okay. Fade that down in value a little bit. Go back to those bluish grays again here. Dipping into the linseed oil. I'm not dipping into the linseed oil every time I put a stroke on. Sometimes I simply forget, and sometimes there's enough, again because it's a round brush, there's enough residual oil in there to keep things flowing fairly well. One of the reasons I decided to go with a round brush, this is, I think I explained earlier, this is quite a toothy canvas again. And when you have a round brush and you can load your paint, you can load more paint into it, your brush isn't dry immediately, which is kind of nice. Kind of nice to work with. Okay. Now I'm paranoid. I keep looking at the camera to make sure that I'm recording. Alright, now I'm going to switch from cobalt blue and from cobalt blue and raw umber to ultramarine blue and raw umber. That will give us a different blue. Still a gray, or a different gray. Still a gray, but a little different. Not quite as green a gray. It's almost like you're adding a bit of alizarin crimson to your purple, but you're not, because the ultramarine blue is, well, for lack of a better word, it's a redder blue than cobalt is. You can see the sky's going in pretty quickly. With this big brush, but I am going to have to go back into it and blur some lines and maybe articulate some other lines or shapes more clearly. I decided to shave this down a little bit. It might be enough, I don't know. It was just a little too obtrusive. Just cut fractionally too much into the sky, to my taste. Okay, you can see very clearly where that's going. I need to cut into the trees and around them towards the bottom, tidy that up, and tidy up some of my lines a little bit. Next, I will dig into these trees in the background. Enjoy your day, guys. See ya.